All right. Hello, Core 347 students. This is, oh, sorry, that's a dumb joke. Yeah, this is Dr. Tucker. Hey, I wanted to update something. We were going to have a discussion about this the other day, but we haven't had time, and I wanted to go over this with you as you prepare your capstone grant proposal draft. You're going to see on the screen here this document called Asking Interesting Questions. I will email it to you along with this video or link to this video. This document is to help you take the question that you've already started to write and hone it and develop it and make it nice and interesting and tight. All right. So it's going to go over some common mistakes that people make with their scholarly questions and, give us a chance to show sort of best practices. So you see right there at the beginning, it tells you what are the elements that make a question interesting. It's relevant to its field. It's relevant to whatever community that it serves, or it's relevant to a certain problem or scope. Right. So there you see. So here's these problems you can see. One problem with some questions is that they're too vague or they're too big. Right. So here's an example of a vague question. How is it that different cultures have different views about what is funny? You can see how this is monstrously big, right? How can we use humor to make the world a better place? Huge, vast question, right? Another problem is questions are overwhelming. How can we end sexist laughter, right? This is actually a great question to have, like, that you really want to do, right? I'm imagining that Ford and Ford's co-authors, this is one of the questions that they have, right? How can we end sexist laughter? And that's good as like a motivating question behind what you do, but it doesn't work as a good scholarly question in and of itself, right? Watch out for questions that have hidden assumptions. Why are boys usually funnier than girls, right? Again, there's a hidden assumption there that boys are usually funnier than girls. And avoid questions that are too simplistic or known, right? So what is Hobbes' view about why we laugh? You can see that there's, we spend a bunch of time already talking about that. It's not a question that's of interest to people because it's pretty much known, pretty much understood. So I want to do some models of going from bad questions to better questions. First here in education, does laughing help students learn? Way too big, way too broad and vague, right? Does laughing help first-year college students learn? You can see how this is getting better, right? Now we're getting more specific, right? But still, all first-year college students everywhere, what's the point behind it, right? And then here's this a better version of that question. How can laughing at incongruity help first-year college students deal with cognitive conflict, right? Cognitive conflict is just when you have a conflict in your brain, a conflict of ideas. And the idea is that maybe laughing at incongruity can help students feel less stressed when they have cognitive conflict, right? So you can see how this goes from a bad question, relatively bad, to a much better question by the end, right? It gets more specific. It talks about a specific issue and a specific audience. In marketing, can humor help sell products? Way too big and vague, right? How can advertisers target the particular humor of men? Hidden assumption there that there is this particular humor of men, right? Why is television advertising more effective than radio advertising at selling products? Now, if this is true, if there's good evidence to back up that this is a valid assumption, then maybe we could use that, right? But do we know that that's true or not? Can humor have an impact on name brand recognition? You can see how this is better, right? This gets to a particular area of marketing. We're focusing down, right? And then last, does humor in commercial advertisements have the ability to affect the viewer to remember the brand name and its claims, right? So again, getting much more specific. The questions get longer, but they should get more specific as it goes along. Poli-sci, what makes us laugh at political humor in the media? Huge, vague. When does political humor in the media go too far? And who should be held responsible? Lots of assumptions under here, under this one. What impact do funny political shows like The Daily Show have on audiences? Again, this is much more specific, right? Politics, the media, we're getting to something that we can handle. And then look at this best version of this question. How does the reliance of young Americans, 18 to 24, on The Daily Show and The Colbert Report for their news reflect their political sentiments and how they value humor? Right, so, and then there's another version of that. And we already saw this with in the natural sciences. Can laughter help you live longer? Too vague, large. Does laughter help the immune system? Better. How does natural killer cell activity change in child cancer patients after viewing humorous, exciting, didactic, and controlled films? Again, much better, getting much more honed, much more focused, right? Finally, in the arts and humanities, is there anything funny about contemporary architecture? Huge, vague, useless. Could a building be read as funny? Better, but sort of a yes-no question, right? How could Gary and Mulinich's dancing house be humorous? Again, now we're talking about a building, right? That's better. And then this last one, how might Kant's ideas about humorous thwarting of expectations explain the postmodern wit of Gary and Mulinich's dancing house? So that, you see that that's much more, that's a question that I told you I addressed at a conference in March. That's a much better sort of scholarly question that's getting down. Now, the other thing that you're going to see on this document as you scroll down, is a whole bunch of sample questions. Tons of sample questions. Those are actually your drafts of your preliminary question. So what I encourage you to do is go through there, find your question, look at how you could adjust it, how it could be improved, right? You might want to look at some of the other questions because they might give you some ideas about ways that you could go or ways to start to address your question. All right, so tomorrow we have our workshop. Super looking forward to it. Please make sure that you're there. Please bring 2 copies of the best capstone draft capstone grant proposal that you can. That way we get the very best feedback on it, right? You get the very best peer review of it, okay? All right, I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. As you have any questions, please let me know. And stay dry.